Game 4 of the Western Conference Finals was a perfect example of what makes these Rockets special. In the first half, James Harden stole the show. He scored 24 points in the opening 2 quarters of the game on an efficient 8 for 17 shooting from the field. He knocked down 3 triples, picked up a pair of steals that killed Golden State's momentum going into the locker room, and threw down one of the biggest dunks of the season on one of the best shot blockers in the NBA. He looked every bit like this season's MVP. Then, Harden went cold. He scored 6 points on 3 for 9 shooting in the second half, missing all 6 of his three-point attempts. It would have doomed last season's Rockets, but this season's version has the luxury of putting the ball in the hands of Chris Paul, a 9-time All-Star and a future Hall of Famer, when Harden doesn't have it going. While he struggled in the first quarter, Paul went on to score or assist on 21 of Houston's 42 points in the second half. He was particularly dominant down the stretch, putting up 8 points and dishing out 2 assists in the final frame when the Rockets outscored the Warriors by double figures. Paul did everything for the Rockets in those minutes. All 3 of his baskets in the fourth quarter came in isolation, where he generated almost a third of his offense in the regular season at a rate few players could match. His three-pointer over Klay Thompson was eerily similar to the one Kyrie Irving hit over Stephen Curry in Game 7 of the 2016 NBA Finals, and it sparked a 9-2 run that helped the Rockets take their first lead since Golden State's explosive end to the third quarter. Those plays are ultimately why the Rockets traded for Paul before this season. Check out Paul's assist to Gordon again, and you'll notice Klay Thompson hugging Harden on the three-point line on the opposite wing, even though he's not directly involved in the play. It's a good example of how Harden, a career 36.4% shooter from three-point range, provides value even when he doesn't have the ball in his hands too. If teams focus on limiting Harden's touches, it gives Paul even more space to work with. It can slow the Rockets down when Paul doesn't have it rolling, as was the case in Game 3, when the Warriors limited him to 13 points on 16 shot attempts, but it makes Houston almost unguardable when he does. Paul's performance couldn't have come at a better moment either. After losing Game 1 on their home court and Game 3 in Golden State, the Rockets couldn't afford to go back to Houston facing a 3-1 deficit. It looked like the Warriors were heading for another blowout victory in Game 4 until Houston rallied twice to put itself in position to win, starting with Harden in the second quarter and extending to Paul in the fourth quarter. Other than the Warriors, there isn't a team in the league that has 2 players who are as comfortable Paul and Harden are scoring in pick and rolls and isolation, which is why their games are tailor-made for Mike D'Antoni's system. It's already gotten them 2 wins in the series. Now, let's see if they can do the seemingly impossible and get 2 more.